So I'm very happy that somehow or other you are all here, and to arrange these initiations it takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and sometimes different phone calls and conversations and tests and letters and so many things. And then it just makes me think of like everyone went through a life, so many different hills and valleys and turns, and somehow or other we are here. This is the most auspicious time, a time where we actually are, instead of we simply take shelter of this initiation, then Veronica needs translation. Someone need a translation in the front. Anyway, so if one simply takes shelter of this initiation, then the path back to Godhead is straight open. So it is indeed a very auspicious moment, and whatever has been before is now not so important. This is the moment where we say, we fix ourselves on the path and in the process, and we'll stay there, and somehow or other go forward. What I'll do now is we'll first do the Ajman, and also changing of neck beats if there's anything still to be done in that regard. We can first do the Ajman and then Om Pavitra Sarvavasta Kadopiva Yasmare Pundarikacham Sabaya Yantara Suchi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. And you have all your ashram up. So we'll just throw a little water in the right hand and let it go. Then throw some 3 drops of water in the left hand and throw. Now move the spoon to the left hand. Then 3 drops and throw. In the right hand now 3 drops. Look at the water and say Sankeshava. 3 drops and throw. Again, 3 drops. Om Narayana Namaha. 3 drops throw. And 3 drops. Om Narayana Namaha. And 3 drops throw. And that part's done. And then we can change the neck beats. Whatever. You have yours with you?
I'm under pressure of wanted to give it to me now.
Ist in this room. Vielleicht kann jemand schnell. Kannst du schnell schauen, dass du umeinander ziehst?
Krishna. He's coming, he's coming.
Jetzt. Kommt schon.
Om Jnanatimandasya Gyanandana Salakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-Manavishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam-Rupa-Kadamaya Tadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddha-Varamam Shri Guru Vaishnam Shri Rupam Saradatam Sahananandam Tam Sajivam Sarita Sadhutam Vaishnava Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhanamita Sajisacham Kamsa Iti Krishna Paramahansa Vinamajikantale Murti Shakti-Kanta Radha-Katana-Mustate Tatta-Kamsa-Sarangi Radhe-Radhe-Shri Vishavanusude Pranamani Hare Vanchita-Vakayurya-Shanti-Sasya Padikam-Mahanidyo Vaishnayo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasani Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So good fortune is the essence of today's occasion. So many lifetimes we have been in the material world. So many lifetimes we have creating karma and experiencing karma, and simply like a ball on the waves of time, really not much control over our destiny at all. But then, when we come to devotional service, everything changes. Srila Prabhupada explains, Tasyaiva hita prayati kovido yidbrahmatam upayata lapyate and something like that. The point that he was trying to make is that we go up in the universe, down in the universe, birth after birth. Sometimes a better birth, sometimes a lower birth. And this goes on for a very long time. So when we actually come to the point of taking initiation, then we end that cycle. And we are basically now on the way back to God. Of course, one must take advantage of the vows, and also we must take the vows with great faith. With great faith, trusting in the power of the holy name, and trusting in the power of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the mercy of all the acharyas, the mercy of the Vaishnavas, that somehow or other we will be able to do this if we want it. And of course, we must desire it. If we don't desire to follow, then what can we expect? But if we desire to really make this initiation successful, then we may struggle sometimes, but we will do it. It will be done. Because there is so much help. Srila Prabhupada explains the story of Ajamil, and how Ajamil is a qualified Brahmana, and somehow or other Ajamil, although he was a qualified Brahmana, he fell down. Then Prabhupada said, then what is our chance? If you look at it from that perspective. But one thing Ajarmil did not have. Ajarmil did not have the special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the special protection, which we do have, which makes it very different now. Therefore, we should not doubt. We should not think, can I really do this? Well, we can. But if we take shelter. The key of the initiation is to take shelter. Is to take shelter of the holy name. Take shelter of the spiritual master in an honest relationship. Just as one should not lie in front of the deity. That is an injunction in scripture. One should also be truthful in front of the spiritual master, whatever is going on, because otherwise how can he reach us if we just if we hide everything? How are you? I'm fine. And can he read minds? Can he? Maybe not. And what if he cannot? And then he might not know. And if he doesn't know, then he cannot help him. So we should take shelter. Shelter of the Bhagavad-gita. This morning I gave a lecture about Srimad Bhagavatam and about how that Bhagavatam is dealing directly with our life. And how through the Bhagavatam we get a handle on our life, how to deal with everything. So Bhagavatam is an essential element in our spiritual life. It should be our daily companion. Then chanting is at the very core of our vows, because chanting is about chanting is essential. Someone needs to bring this some more. Chanting is essential. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, there's nothing else in this world, only chanting. Everything else has no meaning, he says. Only chanting has meaning. Okay, that's a very strong point of view. But still, chanting or serving the chanting. Srila Prabhupada pointed it out. We either chant Hare Krishna or we serve the Hare Krishna movement. This way, this Mahamantra is everything, and somehow or other we have to put energy there. We have to make sure that we reserve good time for chanting. We have to make sure that we reserve good energy for chanting. That means go to bed early enough so that we can rise early enough without being exhausted, so that we have energy to really focus on good chanting. That's going to make the difference. Strong chanting, somehow or other. And that's what is required. How exactly we're going to manage that? There are some personal needs and adjustments, and that's fine. But we have to put the emphasis on this chant. Avoiding offenses in chanting also is there, for the chanting to have quick effect. we should not criticize or blaspheme the Vaishnavas. And that's a whole big change of culture. Because in the material world, everyone is always criticizing everyone, at least in the minds. So, to come to this point of instead giving credit to everyone, that is what we expect. You see, oh, they did this so nice, oh, they're doing this so nice, oh, they have such nice qualities. And in this way, and that's like, when we look at the verse 3, in the final line, it is saying that one should be ready to offer respect to all others. It doesn't say to all other devotees, it says to all others, to everyone. So this spirit of looking for some credit, some good quality in anyone and everyone, that is Vaishnava, and that is what will save us from offense, from blasphemy. Second offense, consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Rama, to be equal or independent to the name of Lord Vishnu. The name of Lord Vishnu can grant us liberation from birth and death. The names of Brahma and Shiva can never grant us liberation from birth and death. Therefore, whatever benefits one could get from such chanting, it's not eternal. So what's the point? Then the name of Lord Vishnu, Narayan, can give us liberation. And the name of Krishna can even give us love of God. So, therefore, we respect all the demigods, but we will not turn to them for our shelter. We'll offer them respect, but for shelter, we turn to Krishna. Respect to the demigods, yes, but worship for Krishna. Prasadam from Krishna. In this way, our focus is on Krishna, or Vishnu Tattva. We can also take Vishnu Prasadam. We can also worship Lord Vishnu, but our Istadev, our worshipable Lord, is always Krishna. Or Lord Chaitanya, or Lord Jagannath, Lord Singha, like that. Third offense, disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Of course, ideally speaking, it is not about obeying an order of the spiritual master. It's rather about taking the order of the spiritual master and embracing it as a great gift of mercy, and to sort of wear it as a precious jewel on the head, and to see that by this instruction, my small-mindedness has now been expanded. My own little vision that I had of what Krishna consciousness was, just now my spiritual master has expanded on it tremendously. And that is my great fortune. So even so one should always see how the order of the spiritual master, even when it appears to be difficult, is a great blessing. However, if one feels that one cannot follow the order of the spiritual master, then one should discuss it with the spiritual master. One can just bring it up and say, well, this order is really too much for me, I just can't do it. Then it can be discussed, you can see what can be done. Of course, some things cannot be changed, minimum 16 rounds. But then again, if someone is extremely ill, sometimes they cannot chant 16 rounds. And the spiritual master may temporarily say, okay, for some time, now don't worry about it, just do what you can and just recover. Because, sometimes I was in a hospital extremely injured but conscious, and someone brought me my beads and I lost them in the ocean of the bed. That was it. It took a little longer before I was able to actually start really chanting 16. Well, yes, I did some chanting, but I did. And then at one point I was recovered, and I did 16 hours of sleeping. So it was a little hard to chant 16 rounds in the remaining 8. Even then I was dozing a bit every once in a while. So sometimes circumstances may be such that the spiritual master may temporarily say, it's all right, now you just do it. So the order of the spiritual master is important. It is like, practically speaking, the unspoken vow, the vow of obedience. Where the spiritual master has, according to scripture, more authority in one's life than anyone else, than anyone ever had. More than our father, more than our teachers, more than the government. Just like scary almost. So therefore, there has to be a relationship of trust, a relationship of mutual faith. It's like, for me to give initiation to someone, I have to have some faith in the person. If I don't have faith in the person, then I'd rather not give, even if all the formalities have been completed. But on a personal level, I must have faith this person is really going to try. And that's important, of course, okay. Sometimes life takes a turn. That happens. Anyway, that is important. Fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literatures and pursuance of the Vedic word. We are very liberal in respect. We're offering respect to all Vedic literature. Anything connected with Vedic literature, respect, because at least whoever is involved with it makes some connection with Vyasadeva and the whole, and make some advancements step by step. But otherwise, our interest is not in Vedic literature. In general, our interest is in the Bhakti Shastra, in scriptures dealing directly with devotional service. And that is our concern. The other day I was reading some statements of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and they were my favorites. I've even posted them on my blog. There's 64 statements, and one of them is like, we are not pious nor sinful. We are not learned nor ignorant. He said, we are the carriers of the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, that was really good. We are not supposed, it's not about being a big scholar. It's not about not being a scholar. It's not about being extremely pious and doing all the, going to the maximum holy places, or to never do anything to elevate ourselves in terms of practice. But the essence is to be a carrier of the dust of the feet of Sri Chaitanya. Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta continues and he says, we are initiated in the mantra Kirtanya Sada Hare. So if I will ask you today, what mantra are you being initiated in? You would probably say the Hare Krishna mantra. That's what I would expect the answer to be. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, no, Kirtanya Sada Hare, to always chant. To always chant. That is... hat. Yes, in the process. Maybe in my pocket. Yes. So, in this way, we take shelter of the holy name especially. Sorry. Say it. Okay, the fifth offense is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. I mean, it's very simple. The holy name is Krishna, and Krishna is unlimitedly powerful, and therefore there's no limit. And then those that don't take. The ones with stripes on take. Yeah, because they have magnesium steroids, and if you Google, it says can be from non-vegetarian sources. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to tell you. Yeah. You can Google magnesium steroid. The other ones, the white package, without stripes, definitely vegetarian. Yeah, don't. My disciples should not eat fishermen's friends with stripes. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, so Krishna is unlimitedly powerful. Therefore, the holy name is unlimitedly powerful. Therefore, everything can be attained to the holy name. So we can put our full faith in the holy name, that everything will be possible. But if we allow our mind to say, no, I can only go so far, I can only do so much, then we think that we are the doer. And then we think that when we take this initiation, that we are basically, throughout, controlling the whole thing, and that we here are trying to be successful. But it's not like that. What is the real thing is that actually the holy name will carry us. But of course we should allow the holy name to carry us. We should chant and with full faith. Then it's possible. But if we mentally block, no, this can't work, I cannot do this, I know myself. But I know that it's not going to work. Because I know myself. Sixth offense is to give some interpretation on the holy name. Srila Prabhupada comments on this point that the holy name is simply Yasodanandan, the son of Nanda, the son of Yasoda. Like that, no need to look for all kinds of symbolic meanings. Just simply that. Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. Then, that means we are committing sinful activities and then we think, yeah, the holy name will fix it. And then, Prabhupada says, Krishna withdraws from the holy name. And If it is serious, then all that will remain is an empty shell. And we chant and no result. So we must really try sincerely to follow principles of purity. That is something we embrace. And that's why it goes hand in hand. 4 regulated principles and 60 values. 8 offense. Consider the glorious Chant Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities of karma kanda. So karma kanda is basically ritual that will improve the material conditions of life. So we should not think that this chanting now will improve the conditions of material life. It may or it may not. Doesn't mean now I'm initiated, now my life will be easier. No, not necessarily so. It's not meant to fix material life. It's meant to awaken our love for Krishna. That's it. 9, instruct the faithless about the glories of the holy name. We can tell anybody, chant Hare Krishna. We can tell anybody about the message of the Bhagavad-gita, but we will not speak about Krishna's pastimes with his devotees and so on. Those are more private affairs. But in the assembly of devotees, yes, it can be discussed. And number 10 is to maintain material attachment even after receiving some instructions in this subject. So maintaining material attachments means to invest in them, is to again and again pursue them. Now, material attachments may be there, but we are not allowed to pursue material attachment that are outside the regulated principles. Within the regulated principles, yes. Therefore, if someone feels that celibacy is too hard, then one can get married. That's all right. But then, still within spiritual principles. So basically, we're vowing to live a life of shelter, taking shelter of Krishna's instructions. Natei vidu swarta gatin Vishnu. This whole transcendental knowledge is meant to attain Krishna, and Anand Saksat Bhagavad-gita, all religious principles have their origin in Krishna. So in this way, we're trying to follow. As far as the spiritual master, the relationship with the spiritual master is important. The spiritual master is Saksat Daritvena Samasta Sastre. He is the direct representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to many scriptures. He is also Evam Parampara Pratam Imam Rajarsi Yogidu. He also comes in Parampara, so he's also the representative of previous acharyas. The spiritual master is teaching the import of the scriptures, he is following the scriptures, and he is trying to get others to follow the scriptures. Therefore, he's also the representative of the scriptures. Then, the spiritual master is the captain of the boat of transcendental knowledge. That means he's the instructor also. So he's giving us instructions. Now, these instructions may not necessarily come as instructions from do this, do that, go here, go there, you should do this service, you should do that service. No. But like, for example, it comes in an instruction about fisherman's friend, somehow, okay? So it sets standards, and many standards are there. Our spiritual master said, like today I emphasized taking rest early enough so that we can rise early enough so that we can chant. So that's an instruction. Now, this is not an instruction I have carved in a stone slab, and now I'll take this stone slab and I will hit you on the head with this. It's not like that. What I meant is, this is default. And we always go back to that. That is the preferred thing. Sometimes circumstances are such that we get too tired and we sleep too long. It happens, then what to do? No problem. It may be needed. But default is early to bed, early to rise, and then chant. It's a key to spiritual success. It's very important. Chanting 16 rounds is not just fulfilling a quota. I have to try and finish 16 rounds. There are 16 really rounds where we've invested good energy, and there are rounds that are sort of in between, like normal. That is also finishing our 16 rounds, but not really the rounds that will carry us. So like this, the spiritual master is giving us instructions. Then it says that between the spiritual master and disciples is also a personal relationship. Srila Prabhupada used to write his letters, my dear spiritual sons and daughters. So some sort of a spiritual parental relationship. And then also scripture says Sudrila Surinam, there must be firm friendship. So if I break up that whole list of the roles of the spiritual master, there's the representative, Krishna, scriptures, parampara, the instructor, and then the one who is a personal well-wisher, and we have a close relationship. When it says firm friendship, it means trust. And it means there has to be trust. There has to be... so this trust is important. And, like I like to remember how Garga Muni, who was one of Prabhupada's earliest disciples, and a little bit wild, and sometimes, like Garga Muni needed books, and he would just break open the storeroom. It was locked, and he'd just break it open and take the books. And they would go complain to Prabhupada. He just broke open the door and took the books. And then Prabhupada would say, what can I do? They did so much for me. I can't say anything. Like that, because these were the earliest devotees from 66. So Prabhupada treatment like that. So Garga Muni has always been a little bit like that. And one year, he was standing on a stage, speaking on Prabhupada's disappearance day, and he was saying, some people would prefer that I'm not here. He said, but I'm not going anywhere. He said, I'm not going anywhere because of a personal letter that Prabhupada wrote to me. And particularly, there were 3 words in that letter. And because of these 3 words, I'm not going anywhere. So everyone was getting curious about the letter. And finally he said that the 3 words were, your ever well-wisher. The Prabhupada used to sign all his letters with your ever well-wisher. And that is the situation. The spiritual master is our ever well-wisher. No matter what happens, he still be our well-wisher. Unconditionally. That's also there. And therefore, trust is appropriate. There should be trust. And then everything is in place. I have now given my good advice, of some things you can pay attention to. Chanting, reading Bhagavatam, respecting the devotees. So if you just do those things, then it will work. So we'll go on to the next part. We'll just rotate the bars. Who has made his own beats, he said from tulsi that was grown here on the fire. He has filed it, he has drilled them, and then strung them, oiled them, and whatnot. So, Gokul also, he grew up here at the feet of Lord Sringadev. So he's here also today in front of Lord Sringadev, taking these vows. That's nice. I think so. To actually do it here at home is appropriate. So what are the four regulated principles you promise to follow for the rest of you?
I promise to follow, to never eat meat, fish, egg, or meat. No gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication.
And how many rounds do you promise you to chant every day?
I promise to chant every day minimum of 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra.
Yes, very good. All right. So, from today on, you will be known as Gokula Ranjan Das. Ranjan means it's the Supreme Lord who is the enjoyer of Gokul, the place where cows reside. And there, you are the servant of that person.
Hare Krishna!
This sponge is from India. Bhaktanika is a man with wanderlust. He likes to travel. He has been in many places. I've met him everywhere in Australia, and where I didn't meet him, Sadhbush met him. He also travels quite a bit these days. And but he is also there, doing some service and is enthusiastic about Krishna consciousness. So I appreciate that. So it's my pleasure to offer you this initiation today. I have to look for a moment of it. I was trying to give you because I forgot. Where was it? Okay. I see. Okay. So So what are the four regulated principles you promise to follow for the rest of your life?
I promise to do not illicit sex, I promise to do not eat fish, egg, eating, I promise to not gamble, and I promise to do not drink fish.
Okay, and how many rounds do you promise to chant?
I promise a minimum of 16 rounds Hare Krishna mantra.
Very good. Okay, so your name will be Mahamandas. Mahaman. Okay, Mahaman. Yeah. Some people will make jokes about it. But that's don't care about that, you know. What it really means is the one with a noble heart. Hare Krishna. Of course, jokes you can always make. And this one is Bhakta Under. So Bhakta Under is from the Czech Republic. And he's been a devotee for quite a number of years now. And during this last year, he has been distributing books in Brno, under the care of Simhacalam. And that's very nice. I hope you can do more of that. So, can you tell me what are the four regulated principles you promise to follow the rest of your life? Okay, and how many rounds you will chant every day? Okay, very good. So, your name will be Amala Purana. The Amala Purana, by the way, is spotless Purana. That means Simhacalam. Amalam Puranam Vaishnavam Priyam. The Amala Purana is spotless and it's very dear to the Vaishnavas. Then we have here Bhakti Johannes, who is connected here to the farm and who also has a family connection with Krishna consciousness. And so it must have been there for a long time, sort of under the surface. At least it had entered and was bubbling a little, I guess, because Krishna consciousness is like that. It somehow becomes in our consciousness, and little by little it increases. So may it always increase in your life. What are the four regulated principles you promise to follow for the rest of your life?
I promise to never have illicit sex, to never gamble, to never have intoxication, and to never eat meat, which includes also eggs and fish. And I promise to chant minimum 60 rounds every day.
Hare
known as Jagadish Das. So Jagadish means Lord of the Universe, just like Lord Jagannath, but it's slightly different. Isa is more referring to the worshipable deity. So Jagadish, who is like the Lord of the Universe, or the worshipable deity of the universe. And Jagannath's more like the Lord, the controller of the universe. Right? Some overlap is there also. But Jagadish is the name. This one is Maria is from Czech Republic and is married with Manu Pandit from the Czech Republic, and very Krishna consciousness seems to be a natural fit somehow or other. I mean, it may look like that, may not always be easy, but still, there's nothing else to do. And have faith. For you, there's nothing else to do in life. That's why I'm very happy to accept you as my disciple. What are the principles you promised? And how many rounds you promised each other? Yes. Okay. So your name will be Madhavali. Madhavali is the name of one gopi assistant in Uleka. No, I'm wrong. It's the one who serves Radharani and assists Radharani, interesting, Madhavali. And Madhu means sweet, and Avali means abundance. Therefore, Madhavali means one who has an abundance of sweet qualities. Welcome, Tanya. Tanya is very enthusiastic and was out on a marathon. It wasn't always easy, but she did it. So I appreciate that. That's spirit of somehow or other. Yeah. Taking initiatives for Krishna, and in the course of that, conquering, our fears, our own weaknesses, and that's life, Then you will grow. So I hope you always keep that spirit. That will be very, very nice. So what are the four regulated principles? Perfekt. Du hast von Englisch alles verstanden, oder? Good. Okay. Then your name will be Tungabhadra Devadas. So Bhadra is auspicious oder glückverheißend und Tunga ist the topmost oder der allerhöchste, also der allerhöchste glückverheißende ist dann Tungabhadra. And Tungabhadra is described as a gopi who assists in the lake. So, welcome to our family of devotees. They're all, some are here, and we always meet that family of devotees. Not only the family of my disciples, but all the devotees. And because together we can do it. Alone, we always need those devotees, and somehow we will do it. Okay, we'll go on to the next part of the ceremony. Maybe now whoever will sing a bhajan can do so. Any sweet singer with a Kadamba voice and mellow and beautiful. just like the head of the cow. Two middle fingers. Namaha Swaha 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 Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayam Padantikam Swaha 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 Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupa Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajiva Sadvitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakam Vitamscha Swaha 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 Vancha Kalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Kadamba Kanana Swami Tinamine Swaha 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Gurudasa Jaya Dvaita Swami Ittinamine Swaha 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Ittinamine Swaha 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varsavani Devi Daitaya Vipaktaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurochvala Himaja Shirupanuga Bhaktida Shigora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shrimurtaye Dina Vinatarine Rupanuga Virudapasidanta Kantaharine Swaha 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 Namo Urikishoraya Saksat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Adambujaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satsidananda Namine Pura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Swaha 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 Namo Gora Vibhava Umestvam Idesta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnav Sarvabhoma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Maha Madanyaya Krishna Prema Gadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Pura Trise Namaha Swaha 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 Panchatattvamakam Krishna Bhaktarupa Svarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Swaha Swaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Upisa Upikakanta Radhakanta Namostute Swaha 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 Jayata Surito Pango Mama Namatir Kati Vatsarvasha Adambojo Radhamadana Mohana Swaha 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 Divya Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Shima Ratnagara Simhasanastu Shima Radha Srila Govinda Deva Stadivi Sevyamano Smarami Swaha 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 Shima Rasa Rasarambe Sivata Tatastitaha Karsam Venu Smane Gopi Gopinata Shri Sunaha, Swaha, 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 Tapta Kanchana Gourangi, Radhe, Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi, Pranamami, Hari Priye, Swaha, 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 Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Radha, Shivasadi, Gaura Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. So then we'll do the Purnahuti, the final part of the ceremony, which completes the yajna. And we'll stand up and offer the banana for the swaha in the fire. So, Namo Brahmanya Devaya O Brahmana Hitaya Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Swaha Don't throw. Put it slowly. Swaha. Otherwise, the wood jumping out of the fire. Swami. We can have kirtan. Let us start a little lively kirtan. And we can then have the initiates circular like fire. And then, after you've done that, then we can strip the foods.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Hare